What would your reaction be if somebody were to call you a refrigerator? On one hand, it's a very odd thing to call someone. Secondarily, it might be taken as a bit of an insult, because refrigerators are normally thought of to be very big, kind of like me. Think about this. Because in the gospel today, Jesus challenges his disciples to be the salt of the earth. Normally, when we think of salt, we think of flavoring added to food. Who doesn't like a little salt on their corn, or maybe on a baked potato, or French fries, or nice salty popcorn, one of my favorite things. That's why I'm as big as a refrigerator. That's not what Jesus is saying in the gospel. In the gospel, when Jesus says, "You are the salt of the earth," what he means is what salt was used for at the time of Christ, which was a preservative. There was no way to preserve food apart from salt. Today, we use refrigerators. So think about this. Jesus is essentially saying to us, to the people who are listening to him, and this reading takes place in the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. You are the salt of the earth. You are the ones who I call forward to be like salt. And salt, particularly when you were preserving meat or fish, salt was used to preserve meat so that it wouldn't spoil. It was used to preserve food so that food wouldn't grow moldy or sour or bad or disintegrate. Salt was the tool that was used to keep food from going bad. You, as the salt of the earth, are the ones who were intended to go out into this world to keep the world from going bad. So often we think of this image, this beautiful metaphor, as if Jesus is simply telling us to be interesting people in the world, to add zest and flavor to society. That's way too superficial of a reading. You are called to be the salt of the earth. And I would propose, and you've heard me preach this before, I would propose the reason that our world is in the mess that it is in is because we as Christians have gotten this gospel passage wrong, and we have not followed through on what Jesus challenged us to do. You are the salt of the earth. You and other Christians like us are the ones who are supposed to be out in the world and acting in such a way that it does not go bad. You are the light of the world. You are the ones who are supposed to go out into the world and bring light where there is darkness. I don't know if you've noticed, there's a lot of darkness in the world today. And so when we as Christians fail to be salt and fail to be light, the world goes bad and darkness grows. Isaiah puts it this way: feed the hungry, clothe the naked, care for those who are oppressed, satisfy the afflicted. Did you hear those words? Satisfy the afflicted. Let's translate that today. Those who know injustice, make sure their injustice is so thoroughly dealt with that they are liberated and contented. That's what it means to satisfy the afflicted. This is the role of the Christian. And Isaiah says, when you do this, then your light will shine in the world. When you do this, then the world will finally be put right, and then God's kingdom will grow and people will see your light. St. Paul puts it this way: when I came to you, I did not come with sublime arguments and profound things to say. Rather, I demonstrated myself with faith with spirit and power. I behaved as a Christian. I didn't just talk like one. That's what he's saying. I propose to you today that we have far too many Christians talking like Christians, but not acting like Christians. Maybe you know this about me. I have a big mouth and I talk a lot. And this is not a new phenomenon in my life. I was like this the moment that I could talk. And my father would get so frustrated with me, he would often say, "Peter, you should be seen and not heard." I have yet to succeed. But what I propose to you is that we as Christians, our Christian community, is far too comfortable being heard and not seen when it comes to the ills of our world. We are way too comfortable condemning, criticizing, pointing out, and condescending to what is wrong, bad, broken, or dark in our world. We have said way too much, and our actions have not backed up our words. The point has come, I would propose, and I'm begging you, the students who are here, I'm begging you that when you live your Christian life, please realize the kingdom of God does not need a better PR campaign. We don't need any more brand managers. We don't need a marketing strategy. We need action. We need injustice to be confronted, the poor to be cared for, those who suffer injustice to be provided for. We need the afflicted to be cared for. When this happens, then our words will be taken seriously. But until this time comes, nothing will happen. Did you hear what Jesus said in the gospel? What happens if salt loses its flavor? It's good for nothing except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Does it kind of look like that our Christian faith is being thrown out by society in general, disrespected, misunderstood, and kind of trampled underfoot? That the message of the gospel is unwanted, unheeded, and unheard? I propose that Jesus was predicting our moment, and many others like it. But he was predicting our moment because sadly our words have not matched our actions, or rather our actions have not supported our words. Our Christian vocation to be the salt of the earth and light of the world, we failed at it, and so in some sense the world has just cast us out and tramples our faith underfoot. And the solution to this problem, with what can the salt of the earth be made salty again? The answer is the wisdom my father shared with me. You need to be seen and not heard.